Many of you know how to start this. What would be a first step here to simplify this expression? Those of you with the mark, okay, so need to put the X. You're not sure how to do it. Christian, you said to get rid of the parentheses. Well, that's one way to do that. Let's take a look at some of the properties that we need to know. One property that is helpful here is if I have a to the power of n over a to the power of m. Okay, so Nick, can you tell me what is this equal to? That would be a to the power of what? Let's start with that.
A to the power n minus m.
Very good. So that would be a to the power of n minus m. So you subtract the exponents. One other property would be helpful here to know is if you have a negative exponent, you can use this property to make them positive. Sunit, do you know what that is?
That will be equal to 1 over a to the n.
Very good, yeah. So that would be 1 over a to the power plus n. If you have a negative exponent at the bottom of the fraction like this, you can move it to the top of the fraction and then make it positive. So ultimately you want to have a positive exponent. So it looks like we can simplify what we have inside the parentheses first. Okay, and we have x to the power of minus 3 over x to the power of minus 1. So if you look at that, x to the power of minus 3 over x to the power of minus 1 can be simplified. And if I just separate these terms like this, and the whole thing should be to the power of minus 2, of course. So let's see what this would be. All right, anyone with the microphone can jump in. Carly, what do you think? Looks like you have your microphone tonight. What do you think this would be equal to? X to the power of minus 3 over x to the power of minus 1. Let's write it down here. X to the power of minus 3 over x to the power of minus 1. If I use this property here, can you tell me what this would be equal to? Okay, when I record this session, students cannot see your response that you're typing. They can only hear your response. So if you do have a microphone, you can talk.
Is it x minus, is it negative 4?
Okay, you said x to the power of negative 4. This would be x to the power of minus 3. Remember, we have to subtract this. Minus 1. So this minus 1 comes from here.
Negative 2?
Okay, now you said negative 2. Let's see. This would be x to the power of minus 3. This would be negative, and negative would be positive, right? Positive 1. That's one way to look at it. That would be x to the power of negative 3 plus 1, which would be equal to x to the power of negative 2. Okay? So x to the power of negative 3 over x to the power of negative 1, using this property, gives me x to the power of negative 2. Okay, those of you online, viewing this live, if you have any questions, you can put a X next to your name, type your question, or for those of you with a microphone, you can just tell me what your question is so we can move on and go over those. But here that would be x to the power of -2 so far, and we have 4, and also we have y. This whole thing should be raised to the power of -2. So if I have a to the power of n over a to the power of m, okay, let me ask Sunith, can you tell me what is this equal to? That would be
a to the power of nm.
very good. That would be a to the power of n times m. This is where you multiply. So the exponents for 4 here is 1. Exponents for y is equal to 1. So I can simply distribute -2 here. So that would be 4 to the power of 2 times. -2 times 1 would be -2. And then here we have y to the power of, here we have -2 times -2, that would be a +4. And then finally we have y to the power of -2 times 1. That gives me -2. So now we have to make everything positive using this property here. Okay, let's see. Who has a mic wants to try this? Claudia, you want to tell me how do you write this final answer with only positive?
Flip it around and put, instead of putting 4 on top, put it on the bottom. And then, I don't know, I'm lost after there.
Well, you're right. 4 to the power of -2 over 1 would becomes 1 over 4 to the power of +2. So yes, you remove the 4 with the negative exponents to the bottom of the fraction. Now we get this positive. So can you continue with y and x? What do you do with y and x? Where y goes?
Put x and y on top.
Well, x goes to the top. You're right. X stays at the top. That would be x to the power 4 because the exponents are already positive. But y, the exponents for y is negative.
So put y squared.
Right, y squared, that goes to the bottom of the fraction. That becomes +2 when you do that. So there we have it. This whole thing would be x to the power of 4 over 4 squared, which is 16, y to the power of 2. Now everything is to the power of positive exponents, and we combined everything. We don't have any negative exponents. So in this case, we reduced what we have inside the parentheses first, and then we applied this -2 by using these properties. So there's 3 properties we have here: a to the power of n to the power over a to the power of m. That would be a to the power of n minus m. And if you get the negative exponents at the end, you make it positive. And then here, if you have a to the power of n over to the power of m, that would be a to the power of n times m.